Welcome to Amazing Earth, Level 3. This is the beginning of Level 3, which will be on human land changes. You have learned that Earth's surface is always changing. But did you know that humans cause Earth's crust to change? In this level, you will learn that humans can alter Earth's surface in positive and negative ways by using its natural resources. There are 3 missions in this level. At the end of this level, it'll be time for you to prepare to take the boss of this entire quest, in which you will be then finished with this quest. Let's review our big question, which is how do Earth's resources change? Our key point is Earth's surface is constantly changing. These changes occur either slowly through weathering, erosion, and deposition, or rapidly because of natural disasters like earthquakes and volcanoes. Humans can also change Earth's surface both positively or negatively. By studying Earth's changes in natural resources like minerals, rocks, and soil, humans can determine how to use natural resources to survive and where to build structures used for living. Mission 1 of this level will be on human land changes. Our mission objective is to identify positive and negative ways humans change Earth's surface. Our challenge questions: what are the 3 types of pollution caused by people? How can people reduce pollution? And then this is a 2-part question: what is land reclamation and why is it important? Now let's begin this mission by talking about the causes of human land changes. As a living thing, people interact with their environment. Interact is underlined because that's a really important vocabulary word for us to understand. Interact means to do something to the earth and then expect something back from the earth in return. This means that when we interact, we get food, water, and shelter from our surroundings. Sometimes humans need to change large parts of our environment to meet our needs. We just can't make minor changes. Sometimes they have to be larger changes in order to meet our needs. So that means we have to cut down trees and clear forests to use that land for building things and to use the wood for our purposes. We might need to plant crops by doing so we have to prepare the land in order to plant crops. We have to build roads in order to get from one place to another. So those are examples of large changes that we need to do to our environment in order to meet our needs. When changes happen, we sometimes upset the balance of the environment. So that means that as we're doing these things, we cause the environment to change and upset what was happening there before the changes occurred. Humans change land either negatively or positively. Here you can see some examples of the different negative ways or bad ways that humans change land, and then also some ways that we positively change land. And we'll talk about each of those in this mission. First, going to talk about the negative human land changes. To do so, we are going to watch a video here in a moment. But first, let's talk about pollution. Pollution is the waste from products made or used by people. There are 3 types of pollution that we're going to focus on, which is air, water, and land pollution. Now we're going to watch a video, so give it your attention so that we are ready to move on when the video is over and that you have some nice background knowledge along the way.
Pollution.
Some things can hurt the Earth's natural resources. When harmful materials get into our water, air, or land, they are no longer healthy for living things. They are polluted. Nature can pollute itself. A lake can be polluted when too much soil with harmful materials in it settles on the bottom of the lake. When a volcano erupts, it sends dust, gas, and ashes into the air. These things pollute the air, land, and water. But people are the greatest cause of pollution. Our cars, planes, boats, trucks, and factories pollute the air with harmful materials. Rain carries these materials in the air to the Earth's water and land. Sometimes the harmful materials in the rain damage trees and can kill plants and animals that live in fresh water. This polluted rain is called acid rain. Only a small amount of the water on Earth is fresh water, and an even smaller amount of that water is clean. When garbage, soap, fertilizers, or chemicals are dumped into the water becomes polluted. People and animals cannot drink or use polluted water. Nature filters some of this pollution. The pollutants or bad materials in the air mix with rain. This rainwater goes into the ground, where the water flows through layers of rocks. These rocks act like filters to remove many of the bad materials from the water. Sometimes you can tell if water is polluted. Polluted water might smell bad, be cloudy, have oil floating on top, or dead fish floating in it. Polluted water is not safe to drink or even to swim in. Even if the water in a lake, stream, or river looks clear, it could be polluted with germs or chemicals, and you should not drink it before it's treated. Much of our fresh water comes from streams, rivers, and lakes. It travels a long way through pipes to reach us. The water may have mud, germs, and chemicals in it. Before we use it, the water must go to a water treatment plant to be cleaned. Now the water is safe to use again. People also pollute the earth by making garbage. People make a lot of garbage each year, about 10 times their own body weight. So if you weigh 60 pounds, you probably make about 600 pounds of garbage in a year. Now that really adds up when you count the garbage that the rest of your family makes, plus the garbage that your neighbors make, and the garbage your whole community makes. Many communities collect garbage from homes and put it in landfills. The garbage is piled up in a hill and machines cover it with soil. Some of these communities are running out of space for landfills. Landfills pollute our earth and use up our natural resources.
Let's talk about air pollution. Cars and factories release poisonous chemicals into the air. And unfortunately, these chemicals can be dangerous to breathe both by humans and by animals, which in turn also harm plants. These chemicals can also produce acid rain, which is not good for our environment. Water pollution. Wastes and chemicals can get into rivers, lakes, and oceans and become polluted. That is caused by erosion and runoff. So as we've put chemicals into the ground to help growing crops, when erosion happens and then the land gets washed away through erosion, it then sometimes gets into the water, and that's not good. And from that water, they can flow into our sewer systems, which is not good. Oil spills and leaks sometimes happen when people drill and ship oil. I feel like almost once a year there's a major oil spill somewhere in the world. Just several years ago, there was a huge oil spill down in the Gulf of Mexico. It was disastrous for the environment there. It cost lots of money to fix it, and it also had a lot of waste to our environment, a lot of pollution to our environment. Algae, plants, birds, and fish become coated with oil when these oil spills occur and may die, which is not something we want. Land pollution. Garbage and litter produced by humans can cause land pollution. Hazardous wastes like chemicals from batteries or gasoline, or really anything that's hazardous, anything that we shouldn't put into our body, sometimes gets put into land. These are very harmful substances that seep into our groundwater, which isn't, again, good for our environment. What are some pollution solutions? Well, for air pollution, we could walk instead of drive. We could ride bikes instead of drive. We can conserve electricity because some of our electricity comes from coal, which releases these chemicals into the air. For water pollution, we can avoid toxic chemicals and fertilizers. We can create rules for companies that drill oil to make sure that they are being very careful and very cautious as they are doing so. For land pollution, we need to dispose of trash and garbage properly. Coal strip mining is the second negative thing that humans do to Earth's surface. Let's talk about it. There are many valuable substances that lie under Earth's surface. Coal is one of those valuable resources underneath Earth's crust. Coal strip mining is one way to mine this coal. What happens during coal strip mining is that huge machines dig up this coal from underneath the ground. This creates large holes that will then sometimes erode into bodies of water, which in turn is dangerous to people and harmful to the environment. Now let's talk about some positive human land changes. There you see them on the screen. We're going to talk about land reclamation and preservation and conservation. Land reclamation. Law requires that land disturbed by mining must be reclaimed. So anytime that somebody has done some mining, it eventually needs to be turned into something else. That's what land reclamation is. It is the process of restoring land after it was used for mining coal. I guarantee you there will be a question on a checkpoint or a level up about what is land reclamation, and it's right there. Land reclamation is the process of restoring land after it was used for mining coal. During this process, mining companies must replace the rock and soil that was removed. Remember, we said the top layer is stripped away and then there's left a big hole. Well, then mining companies must replace that rock and soil that was removed, and then they must, on top of that, after they've filled in that hole with rock and soil, they now must replant plants with native crops, plants, and trees. Animals may also then return to this land. In Indiana, a mine in Turkey Run State Park was turned into a habitat used for the endangered Indiana bat. So that is an example of a way that a company turned land that had been used for mining into a different purpose to benefit the environment. We may later this week or in a few days do a mining reclamation lab. We may, depending on the time that we have, but that would show you the process in a little different way. How can we protect Earth? Well, we can do it through preservation. National parks help preserve or save our natural treasures. So things like Yellowstone National Park is an example of humans trying to preserve our natural treasures. Saguaro National Park is where there are tons of saguaro trees and things, and that's another national park that is important for us to preserve. Some companies set aside land to preserve land, meaning that some companies have said, okay, we're going to invest in this land and we don't want it to be used for any other reason than for just it to be used for natural purposes and to preserve it. Then they change the land to fit the habitat of the plants and animals that they want to protect. So if they're looking, like when we talked about at Turkey Run State Park, they wanted to protect the bats, so they changed that environment, that habitat, to benefit the bat, to save it and preserve it. Let's summarize. Humans interact with their environment to meet their needs for survival. They change Earth's surface to meet these needs. If we were able to change Earth's surface without, or we were able to meet our needs without changing Earth's surface, that would be great, but we are not able to do so. However, we can change Earth's surface positively in good ways, like through land reclamation and through preservation, but we can also do it negatively through things like pollution and coal strip mining. Pollution is a negative way people change Earth's surface, and land reclamation is one positive way that people change Earth's surface. It is now the end of this mission. Are you ready to take the checkpoint? Are you ready to answer the challenge questions? I hope so. And then when you have done so, I will see you in mission 2.